We've all heard these stories, and so you're carrying them, but how about writing them down? This makes it so everyone can enjoy the story long after they're gone. Hi, I'm Michelle Hardy, and I wanted to talk to you about how the stories of your ancestors are lost if you don't continue to tell them. And we'll sit around the the feet of people that have these great stories. Some of them are so funny, some of them are devastating, some of them are tragic, some of them are uplifting. There's so many stories. You've heard other people, their grandparents, or your friends tell stories that they've heard from their parents and their parents' parents, or what have you, right? We've all heard these stories, and so you're carrying them, but how about writing them down? This makes it so everyone can enjoy the story long after they're gone. When you decide to write a story about your parents or your grandparents or their parents, and you don't know where to start because you don't have information, I suggest you start doing some digging as far as like doing a Google search about your family history. Maybe going to ancestry.com and getting as much information you can about your family history. When you don't have any stories to tell, I mean, it feels empty. But you'll get some stories. I know I have that um, I've heard my relatives tell over and over, and some of them are just so funny. It's just like, yeah, tell me that story again. They are telling you, excuse me, they are telling you it because that's what they remember, that's what they recall. And so this is such valuable information, and you want to make sure that you record it so that in times when you miss them or you need them, you can go back and read those funny stories, those cute little situations that they had, how they got out of them, the celebrations that they had, just all those little memories that meant something to them. And then you can pass them on, and so they'll never be lost. And a way for them never to be lost is to what? Write a book. Just get a recorder. So you can do it with your phone, and then just jot down, little things. So you can ask them a topic, and then they can start talking. And then you'll know that, okay, on this day, we talked about this. And then, that's the title of it, right? And then another day, they'll say, oh, I want to talk about the time that I went down to this bar. And then just let them start talking about the bar. The way that they said it is probably the best way that the book should come out. When you are deciding to write a book that's about your ancestors, your family history, you want to make sure that you capture the information in a book in addition to them recording it. So, you know, basically, this is a tangible thing that can be handed down from generation to generation. So, if something happens to me, then I will have this book that I've handed to my granddaughter, and then she will know all of the information, all those stories that my mother and my aunt and my father told me. Now she has a tangible book that she can say, oh no, this happened because they wrote a book before they passed away, right? So this is a way of doing it. You'll have the recording, but also a book that just can be passed down. And it's a published book. But say you don't want it to be, published for everybody to read. At least the family has a resource of the things that happened in the past. And then those stories never go away. Why? Because you've recorded it on audio and you've printed it in a book form for everyone to have. Now, if your family member is not in a position or the mental capacity to do it at this point, this is where you need to go back to the family members who do remember those stories that are still here so that you can get what facts you do have so that you can complete the book, so that you have enough chapters to kind of give the future generation an idea of what their thinking was, what was happening at that time, because somebody has shared this particular story, a story that was funny, historical, monumental, sad, a celebration. Somebody has shared a story with another family member and that maybe you don't know about. So, if they're not in the position to share the story, you go and ask someone who spent the most time with them to try to get that information, and then respect them and put the story together in such a way that it will be honorable to them, that it would be pleasing to them, that they would be proud to have a book written about them. I suggest that you start now with your own family history. If everyone is gone from your parent, your grandparents, your grandparents' parents, everyone is gone, and you don't have a resource, anyone to ask, like I say, go to the internet and start searching your family history, your background, and then you put together something for yourself so that the future generation can have that. If you don't find anything, then the starting point is right now. The starting point is with you so that you have something to pass on to other people. So if it's your story, then it's your story. And then the generations after that will carry it on. But at least they had your story to start with. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing this video. Take care.